I no really accept what happened. I no really I know I feel sad. I miss my baby, but the person who did it? I know who you are, and like you say, it wasn't me and it wasn't my baby you want. It was either me or the next two, but you take away my only life from me. So don't worry, God ain't sleeping.
Pain, anger, denial, revenge. A ball of emotions wrapped up in a single statement by Alva Moody, the mother of 3-year-old Etana Bennett, who was shot to the temple and died earlier this week following a shooting on Gill Street in Belize City on Sunday morning. That's the trauma that mothers, siblings, and loved ones endure when innocent children are victims of the urban gun violence in Belize. Since the start of the year, 3 children have died as a result of sexual abuse and violence, including 17-month-old baby girl Alyssa Nunes, who was allegedly raped in Maskell village and died within days at the KHMH on March 5th. This was immediately followed by the murder of 4-year-old Port Loyola preschool student Treshawn Goff. It's described as a heartache that will never go away.
This pain, the pain I'd never wish for my worst enemy. I swear to God. This pain that does people say be strong, you have a second child, be strong, but they don't understand it's not easy, especially when the person like well my baby that I'm my firstborn. I know they say I love my son more than my daughter. I love them equally, but me and he had this special bond because he was there before, like long before my daughter. And just for know that he know what for his personality alone make you miss him more.
Today we caught up with Shakira Young, the founder of the Light to Our Hearts and the Tyler Saver Foundation, who back in November 2016, her 7-year-old son was gunned down near Moon Clusters on Daly Street in Northside Belize City. Created in honor of her son's life, Young says that the annual vigil and vision of the organization is to work with mothers and the larger family whose loved ones have been ripped from their arms due to the unending urban violence.
I've been doing quite a limited amount of outreach. The reason why I say limited is because the funds isn't really there for me to do what I really want to do. I think in March I shared with you my vision about moving the mothers forward and doing more with the mothers, having them come together and start a networking and a support group. In March, we try to target the mothers for Women's Month. Summer, right now, we're working on the kids to try to impact them. And then for Christmas, then we attack the grieving kids.
Young believes that while a deceased person is directly the victim of violence, surviving family and friends are also victims because the trauma affects them psychologically.
Yeah, they do become victims, and I always say that I could speak personally for myself doing this because I've been through that dark phase of my life where suicide was my only option, where starving myself was an option, the only option I saw, where sleeping with medication only was the only option I had. So definitely we do become a victim. My family became victim as well because I tend to lash out on them because they're the closest ones around me. So everybody is affected.
The Belize City Council, in the wake of the recent murder of Bennett, embarked on a grief therapy program that seeks to provide counseling services for the families of slain children and youth.
We cannot take it for granted that these families, the families of these who have lost their loved ones, have the kind of support system that they need. And so we're putting in place a grief therapy program that will be accessible to all the residents of Belize City. One of the concerns that we have observed just from this 3-day program is that many of the residents who would need this kind of support system don't usually access it because of its affordability, right? They don't seek a counselor because sometimes it's anywhere between $25 to $50 per session. And, interestingly, the violence takes place primarily on the south side of this city.
Don't allow your circumstances and your brokenness to keep you down, because it was my brokenness that allowed me to know how strong I truly was. And now I've become somebody that I didn't know I was capable of being.
Duane Moody for News 5.